Hi there, all my good stinky weebs. Today I'm going to be covering this BBC article titled Parents Feel Powerless Over Children's Social Media Use by a so called actor, Kate Winslet. And the article was written out by Laura Kinsberg and Rob Corp. Now, this particular article here by the BBC is pretty doom and gloom. I can summarize this article into one sentence, and that is parents are powerless when it comes to their children. That pretty much encapsulates what this entire article is about. Now, this article really portrays a pretty dark picture of of children and what they're interacting with, or they might be able to interact with, and their parents' inability to stop it, or quite frankly, their inaptness in doing anything because they're left flailing by the government and the different platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. Um, and I gotta give it to whoever wrote this up, or this particular person. Um, they very strongly belittle the amount of authority, they belittle the amount of responsibility parents have. I mean, I'm guessing this particular person as a parent would give their child unfiltered access to the internet, period, with no filters in place, with no parental blocks, full unlimited access to the internet, because that's exactly what it sounds like she might be doing if she has children. Um, this article really zones in on social media use, interactions, and obsessions. Obviously, if you are a child or you're underage, you should limit the amount of exposure you have in any social media, right? It will not look good for you growing up, and it won't look good for you if your employer sees it and sees all of the sketchy things you do. Obviously, there are good ways of using social media to kind of showcase what you can do or what you've done. If you've helped in the community or you've done really good work, social media is a great way to show it off. However, if used unwisely, can lead to some pretty bad repercussions, right? So this article really just talks about how the government and platforms should have more of an age gate, a stronger age gate with more protection and accountability for protecting their younger users, because parents really have no idea what's going on. They're left flailing. Now, it is very it is strange for me to say that there should be some form of verification for a child to verify they're a child. It's like it's weird for me, okay? Obviously there's like state issued IDs for verification purposes. But like an ID solely to use for verifying that you're underage, that for me sounds sus, fishy, kind of wrong, kind of perverse. It's minors are a very vulnerable group. You do not want to have a type of verification that says that you're part of a vulnerable group, right? That's what I'm going basically trying to say. Um, but at the end of the day here, it's the parents' jobs, not the government, and it's not Snapchats, and it's not Facebooks, or it's not Instagrams, to kind of guide, to tell the children or their children or minors what they can and can't watch. Okay, um, the moment a platform or a government is able to do that, there is some pretty big repercussions that can happen. Okay, I'm gonna put on the tinfoil hat. If a government is able to guide the type of media your child consumes, that kind of sounds like, you know, Russia or China or North Korea, where the government kind of curates the type of content a child can watch or see or be exposed to. I do not think that's a good idea, okay? The internet should be free with as much information available as possible that, it doesn't compromise anybody's safety, of course. Should be free, right? You need to tell your child or create parental blocks or filters on the child's internet to prevent them from getting access to that stuff too early. But you also have to talk with your children, right? There is still a parent-child talk that needs to happen, whether it be intimate relationships or it be internet usage. You need to let them know that this type of content is out there and it can't affect them profoundly, right? There is violence out there. There is sexual activity out there, and it's not good to be exposed to that too early. You want them to grow up a little bit first. You want to make sure that the child develops their own sense of self and that there isn't other people on these platforms pushing ideas of what they should be, or or if they're missing out on anything. That's up to your child to decide, right? um that's like with the hype culture and all of that. You don't need a Lambo to be happy, and those people that usually have Lambos is because they rent them out or something. Right? So you want to make sure that at the end of the day, you talk with your children that this internet is out there, that if you are going to implement parental blocks, tell them why, that they're not old enough or they're not developed enough. Obviously, children are going to think that they're already adults, but, they can be exposed to some pretty criminal stuff. So this article paints a really dreary image of adults and parents and their children. But I feel like this really undermines the parent-child interaction, okay? Even if you're a single mother, single father, you have authority and you have the responsibility to create a nurturing environment for your children. And if you feel like internet access is not enhancing your children experience in any way, why have it? I have seen parents use social media profiles to the benefit of their children. They're able to produce really cool profiles that kind of talk about what their children have done, where they've gone, the community service they've done, if they helped out. One of my good friends, his parents actually made a profile while he was growing up, showing off all of the community work he was doing, and all the family pictures all the pictures they were taking of him while he was doing it. They were submitting it to this private profile, and when he was old enough, they unlocked it, gave it to they gave the password to their child, or the young adult at that point, and he was able to use that for university and for work. He's able to show off to people, or show off that he has been active in his life in a positive direction. There are good ways to use the internet, and there are bad ways to use the internet. And it's not up to the government to decide what those lines are or where that boundary is. It's up to us, to the parents, to educate themselves on what's going on, what the internet is, and what is out there. And it's also, up to us to kind of limit exposure to these kids, right? For example, YouTube here, there's such a thing as naked yoga. If you are under 18, it doesn't exist, but if you're over age, it's not half bad. It's on the platform. And maybe you knew, maybe you didn't. Now you know, and whatever you do with that information is up to you. It's a couple of clicks away. So that is this article. This article paints a dreary picture of future parents, but it's nothing like this. right? It's up to us. We have the final say on how we decide to tutor our children, to grow our children. And I don't think the government or social media platforms have any say in how we do that. All right, guys, that's been the video. If you like it, leave a like. If you don't, leave a dislike. As always, it's nice seeing you guys here, and I hope I catch you guys in the next one.